history of the ICC that this can take years, a very long time, for anything to actually see the light of day in terms of a trial. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's right. So right now, it's really unclear when a trial would happen. I mean, this news just broke, but when it comes to the ICC, a person has to appear in person for a trial to actually occur. And that's really significant here because now that there is this arrest warrant out for President Putin, which is hugely significant news, the rest of the world is going to be on alert. So he could essentially be arrested whenever he travels outside of Russia. But so long as he remains in Russia, he will maintain impunity. And that's something that State Department officials have pointed out. That is one of the challenges of trying to prosecute someone at this high level who is protected by the boundaries of his own country. And I also think it's important to note that, you know, one of the things that State Department officials have been watching for here is who the ICC decides to go after. The fact that they're going after President Putin is major news here, but there is also this other woman who is in charge of the children's program in Russia who they're also going after, and it's potentially more likely that she may travel outside of the country and they could get their hands on her. Now, we haven't yet heard, of course, a response from the State Department, but when it comes to the U.S. relationship with the ICC, the U.S. is not a party of the ICC, the statute that created the ICC, but historically, there has been sort of a contentious relationship between the U.S. and the ICC. During the Biden administration, however, they have really engaged with one another, and that is what you hear State Department officials talk about. And so, obviously, I think this is something that they will welcome because this is the first time that we are actually seeing charges brought, an arrest warrant brought for the crimes, for the war crimes that have been committed in Ukraine. Because the State Department has said that their determination is that Russian forces have committed war crimes, but they don't actually have the power to bring about charges in a court of law, and that's why this is so significant.
She claims to be the savior of Ukrainian children. Demure, devout and devoted, she says, to welcoming orphaned or abandoned children of war to the motherland. But this is no humanitarian adoption program. Russia's Children's Rights Commissioner is in fact in charge of something far more sinister. According to American and European governments and to a report by Yale University, thousands of children have been forcibly deported to Russia. Although Moscow denies it's doing this against their will, some have been taken thousands of miles and several time zones away from Ukraine.
Maria Lvova-Belova is basically the point person at the Kremlin level for this entire program.
And so these children are essentially being held hostage?
Yes.
The woman in charge is herself a 38-year-old mother of at least 10, including 5 adopted children. And her work takes her all the way into the occupied territories.
This time, we came to Mariupol itself. We will do everything for the children and teenagers who are here.
From Lvova-Belova's Telegram channel to Russian propaganda videos, the deportations are no secret, yet the children are totally beyond the reach of either their families or Ukrainian authorities.
Some of those children are really small. We see on the propaganda video of Russian that, 6 months, 4 years. Those children just do not remember where they're from, who are their parents.
And once across the border, there is no contact anyway. Some are adopted by Russian families, others are taken to what are billed as summer camps. In fact, re-education centers aimed at turning Ukrainian children into Russian citizens.
Unfortunately, we see that these children were brought up in a completely different culture, and they did not watch the same films our children watched. They did not study history as our children did.
But Ukrainian lawyers fighting for the return of the children fear that those already adopted may be lost for good.
During this process of adoption, parents can change all personal data. Names, surnames, date of birth, and we think that some children were transferred to Russia without documents.
Among those already adopted is a young boy from Mariupol by Maria Lvova-Belova herself. At first, she says he sang the Ukrainian national anthem. Now he's a good boy, as she told Vladimir Putin himself.
У нас появилось.
Сами ребенка установили из Мариуполя, да?
Did you adopt a child from Mariupol yourself?
Нет, 15 лет.
Yes, thanks to you. 15 years old. Now I know what it means to be a mother of a child from Donbass. It's difficult, but we definitely love each other.
Melissa Bell, CNN.